Howdy you lot, how you all doing? Hope you're all well and dandy. Gonna have a little look at, so if we can get a generator going today. I've got to get it going, need to make sure it works. So we'll have a little look at it. Hopefully it'll be an easy start, but if it ain't, it'll be a good video for you lot, won't it? So we got that little one down there. It's a Honda EX-500. Now the reason I keep it in here is because, you know, in case of a power cut, it's only a small generator, but it's just in case of a power cut. That's the reason why I keep it. So let's get it up, put it on the bench, and we'll inspect it. What's going on? What we got here, look? What, you want to play hopscotch? Yeah. Alright, and we'll have a go hopscotch as well. So here we go. We got Honda EX-500. It's a bit dirty. It's quite old. I think it's from the 90s or something. Got the Minion in the background playing around. But we got all kinds of interesting things on here. We can adjust the hertz for 60 to 50. Got the oil there, which is handy. It's got some very old, got the petrol on and off there. One plug, we only get one plug, it's 240 volt. And you've also got 12 volt DC, which is this little wire that I've actually got with it as well. So you can charge up batteries. You can charge up batteries, or you can connect it to things and run 12 volts. It doesn't have to be for charging batteries, it could be for running things on 12 volts. I think I might test that as well. I've never tested the 12 volts on this generator, but I've tested the 240 and that works. It's got some very old petrol in it. In fact, it's nearly full up of very old petrol. Well before this E10 came around. So I'll give it a shake up and see if we can get it started. And then I'm going to find something to load test it on the 240 side. And then I'll find something to load test it on the 12 volt side as well. Let's have a look. Can't get it undone. Let me get a spanner and we'll check the oil as well. Get that undone there, hopefully. There we go. Let's see what kind of oil state we've got. Oh, we've got plenty of it. See, I did an oil change on this before I put it, into storage. And I've moved it around various times, but I haven't started it. The last time this was started, I can't remember the last time this was started. It's got to be a year ago, maybe more than a year. Somewhere around there. It always had a problem where it told you that there was low oil. The light's on all the time, but we know there's oil because it's in there and we saw that. Anyway, let's go and get it outside and get going. Mrs. has hanged some washing out on the line, so I better get that in before I get the old generator out. For testing, I've got this heat gun that I use sometimes. It's 2000 watt full power, or we've got setting 1, which is 1000 watts, and setting 2, which is 2000 watts. Oh dear. I need something that's about, well, this is a 500 watt generator. I need something which is about 500 watts really. But I usually use this 1000 watts. It gives it a good old load, but I don't want to overload it because it is old, you know. So I've got the multimeter out so we can test to see if the 12 volts is actually even working, because I can't find anything to actually test 12 volts with. So, but I keep the generator just in case of a power cut or anything like that. But to be honest, we have like impeccable services in this country, and we just never get a power cut, so it just never gets used.
Wouldn't it be fun? By Kimberly Watson. From seed to top of fun.
So I've got the generator, a little 12 volt wire, got my multimeter so I can measure the 12 volts, and I've got this heater. Now I should about put it on setting 1, that should be about 500 watts, which is the maximum this can take. So let's see if we can get it to start, let it warm up a little bit, and then we'll plug the heater in and get that to going, and then we'll put the 12 volt plug in and measure the voltage, see how close to 12 volts it is. I reckon it's going to be alright. I've never tested the 12 volts, but I reckon it's going to work. I've got to do it holding the camera because there was a lot of pressure in there. I haven't got a tripod for this one. This one's got an automatic choke as well. It's alright, wasn't it? Interesting. Making any... Oh, there it is, that's why. That down to there, that's why. Now it's on the load. See how that fares up, shall we? A little bit rough. Say what wattage it is. I'm assuming that's 500. No, it can't be. That must be 1,000. I've got that running out there then. I thought that heater was 500 watts on the first setting, and the second setting bring it up to 2,500, but I must be wrong because I think it's loading up a bit much. But like I was saying, we've got impeccable services in England, right? In the UK we never ever get power cuts, never. So the need for a generator is very small unless you're going somewhere that's remote. I keep it for in case I go somewhere, I go out somewhere and I need electric and there's no electric, I take the generator. But also, if we get a power cut, I can power the fridge, you know, the TV, charge phones and things with that power. So I always keep a generator with petrol in it, ready to rock and roll. But like I say, in this country, in England, we never ever get power cuts. So the thing is though, when you do get a power cut, this is how much people in the UK don't appreciate what we've got, right? When you do get a power cut, people, which is very rare, and if we do get a power cut, it's not for very long at all, maybe 10 minutes, and then they sorted it out. So people complain like mad on Twitter. They're complaining, they're phoning up the electric company, you know, this isn't right, we shouldn't be without power, we shouldn't be without electric, we're in, you know, the modern day. And I'm like, appreciate what you got, you lot. We're in a country where we've got everything we want and it's perfect, you know, nearly perfect. You want to go and live in a country that ain't got electric. Well, I think in America, you lot in America, you get power cuts a lot, don't you? That's why you have generators attached to your homes, big ones, don't you? I think anyway. Let me know in the comments. I think certain states in America, you get a lot of power cuts, don't you? Electric's not very reliable, is it? But in England, electric is proper good. You know, never ever get power cuts, never get nothing. Anyway, I'm going to let that warm up some more. I'm going to try and find something that's 500 watt. so I can hook it up to 500. I don't want to overload it, I don't want to kill it, you know what I mean? It's an old generator. I'm going to find something that's 500 watts so I can give it a good run with a good load with 500 watts, and then we'll go from there. I can't find anything that's 500 watts or even less than 500 watts. I found loads of stuff that's 1000 watts, but I can't find anything that's 500. Oh dear. I'll talk to you in here about it because it's noisy out there. The volts on the 12 volt side are about 25 volts. I don't know, I think that's a bit higher, 25 volts. I mean, normally I would expect to see about, you know, 14, 15 volts for 12 volts, but 25 volts on the 12 volt side. I don't know, you lot can correct me. On a generator that's got 12 volts, would you expect to see 25 volts coming out of that? I'll show you, look. So we got 12 volt DC hooked up to that. Seems a bit much to me. Now it's gone down. That's when we got that on as well. I think we just broke it. Now we're getting 30. So that's the 12 volt side, we're getting 30 now. Oh no, it's like when I thought we broke it. 25. Back in here again because it's noisy out there. When I had the heater on, which is about 1000 watt I think, plus the 12 volts, you see it went down to 13 volts then, which I would expect. But then all of a sudden it's cut off, didn't it? And the electric stopped, the heater turned off, and I thought we broke the generator, I thought we overloaded it, but I pressed the breaker, and luckily that's all that happened, the breaker tripped out. So that is too many watts for that thing. But the voltage for 12 volts went up to 30, if you saw it. I reckon there's a bit of a rectifier problem. Something's gone a bit dicky there. It's not regulating that 12 volts side of things very well. I'm determined to find something that's 500 watt. Oh, I've got a sander. Let's see how many watts the sander is. I just found this Black & Decker sander, but it says on it that voltage. I don't know if that's ever going to focus on that or not. It might do. Voltage is 230. But the wattage is 55, which is nothing. We want something that's going to test it. You know, we want 500 watts or 400 watts to test it. A vacuum cleaner? No, that's 1000 watts. We don't want 1000 watts, we want 500 watts. Well, there we go. I couldn't find anything that's 500 watts to test it with. At least we know that it does put out power, but this heater's too big for it. I think it's about 1000 watts. It says on there the entire rating for it is 2500 watts. So we've got two settings. I was hoping that that would be like 500, and then that one would be like the rest of it to make it up. But I think that must be 1000, and that must be 1500, I reckon, because I think that's too much load for it, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that's the trouble these days. You got these little generators, but there's very little things that we have that are low power. Everything's high power these days. So, I mean, obviously that generator's still good for powering fridges, you know, 70 watts, 100 watts. Fridge, you know, with fridges and they're not that much. Power telly, that won't be much. You can charge phones and things, they won't be much. But powering tools and heaters and things. See, back in the day, back a long time ago, when that generator was made, things were not that many wattage. You know, you could have a hedge cutter, walk along with a hedge cutter and power that. Nowadays, there'd be more than 500 watts. That's the trouble. The next thing on the list to get running is this Lawn Boy 4651, I think it is. I've moved it, I've got it back, I've put it here. And this is my next thing to get going. This is my prized lawnmower, 2-stroke lawnmower. You know, this is the one. So this is the next thing to get going. I've got to try and find a new bag for it, or at least fix that bag as well, because the bag's broken. But we'll have a look. I've got a spare petrol tank now, so we'll have a look through it. But that's the next thing to get going on the list. And so I'll catch you on the next one, you lot, for that one. And enjoy yourselves in the meantime.